And we know why the company makes decisions like this. I mean, a lot of it is for profit and revenue. I mean, even in the Los Angeles Times article, they say they offer Lightning Lane as an alternative. But like Marty pointed out, the Fantasyland attractions at Disneyland aren't on the Lightning Lane service. So even the people who could necessarily afford that service to be added on to their day at Disneyland, well, that is not a end all be all, but that's how they're kind of pitching it here. And we know that this is one of the reasons why they did this whole DAS reimagining in the first place. As actually Disneyland News Today or Walt Disney World News Today pointed out, Disney data breach included Disneyland guest information, Genie Plus revenue details. This by Shannon Ace, September 5th, 2024. This goes on the Wall Street Journal article that outlined so many things that were revealed with that big, whole huge data breach. But actually, it says right about here, another spreadsheet details revenue for Disney Genie Plus, now known as the Lightning Lane Multi-Pass. According to the file, Genie Plus at Walt Disney World generated over $724 million in pre-tax revenue between its October 2021 launch and June 2024 launch. They are beholden to that revenue stream, and any attack or what they perceive to be an attack on that by perhaps abusing the DAS service, well, that just couldn't be. That couldn't stand, and so that's why they reimagined this service.
Especially when their overall attendance is so far down.
That's true. Yes. So you have to be, squeezing that stone for more blood. Go ahead, Marty.
Think about how flawed it was that you ruined an IP, and 2 years into it, you just had to rebrand the whole thing, because not only did you ruin Genie, like is any part goer gonna look at the Genie ever the same again? And then like you messed it up so bad that you had to just like rebrand the whole thing. We're in the middle of planning a trip to Disney World, and we're going in November. We've been doing this for 9 months, and I know it in like the back of my head, inside out, all this stuff. I've had to learn like 3 different variants of the fast pass in order to, like, when I go there, or how I'm going to use it. And we're staying at the boardwalk, so different rules apply to us there. There's a lot of stuff that's just like, and I'm sitting there going like, holy cow, man, wasn't this all for Colorado family? What are they doing? There's no way they can navigate
confused.
this.
And how does it feel, progressively seeing the fast pass system get worse and worse? Genie Plus was an abomination.
Yeah.
And you got to keep your nose in your phone. What would Walt have said about that? No. Forget.
I mean, look at the virtual queues. They released Tron. I was told Tron was going to be a 3-hour wait.
No,
if they got rid of virtual queue. Yeah, exactly.
30 minutes, and really, that's for what is it? A minute and a half of ride, or however short that is.
Yeah,
very short.
And I mean, oh God.
This
article that makes it more difficult for you to spend money and have a good time is wrong. Period. End of story. If they can't master that simple little fact of management, but put it this way, and this is kind of what I do in the article. What if it wasn't Walt Disney? What if it's Joe's? What if it's the real world equivalent of Dino Land out on Route 66 someplace? And you pulled up in your car and the kids are tired and it's been a hot day and you want to spend an hour or two eating cotton candy and riding the flat rides. And they say, that's great. First, you'll have to fill out this form. And second of all, you have to check your phone for an opening. And third of all, if you want to ride the good rides, we're going to charge you double. Have a great day.
These people would charge you to breathe if they could. That's why they want you on all of the subscription plans. They want to trick you into spending money. It's the used car salesman mentality.
And I also don't feel like this is just like 100% money coming in. You're taking money for the left pocket, you put in the right. Robbing Peter to pay Paul. Yep. People are spending less on other stuff, and so that they can pay for their Lightning Lane. So you're selling less ice cream, you're selling less popcorn, you're selling less things, and those things, those things are cheaply made. You have a high profit margin on it, and you don't get a bad guest relationship or experience based off of that happening.
Yeah. There's no free money. It's coming from somewhere, like you said, Marty. But
Right.
I think the real payment being paid by the Walt Disney Company to be pushing a product like this in the way that they are is goodwill. It's just taken a tremendous dump. And
let's remember
the months that they've implemented this.
The big selling point for the cruise lines, for all cruise lines, was going in what it's going to cost, because your food, your entertainment, your transportation to and from the airport, your everything is all in one price. Well, take that apart. And what does it cost you when somebody is saying, well, I think it'd be great to get the kids and the grandkids and go down to Disney World for a week and then take a 8-day cruise to Castaway Cay, but we can't do both. Which one should we do? So that's why I've been saying, when they've been touting that, the cruise lines are doing strong, how much are the cruise lines cannibalizing from the parks and the hotels to where people might have done a week of a 3-day cruise and a 4-day stay, as opposed to, we can't do both anymore. I have to pick one.
I think it's funny that everybody was upset about Lightning Lane multipass, and granted, yeah, you should be. But they announce a skip the Lightning Lane. Like
yes, the premier pass.
People were like, thank God they're raising the price. It's going to be $150. There won't be so many people. No, now Lightning Lane gets skipped.
They should just open up a duplicate Disneyland right next to Disneyland. Same with Magic Kingdom. Like, at this point, what are they doing? What's the end game here?
I know what you call it.
It's like stripping $50.
The one without the lightning lanes and all the goodies. You call it Disneyland Light, L-I-T-E.
Yes.
Oh my
Disney
God.
Light, Disneyland. Oh my goodness
The
gracious.
Disneyland experience.
And I don't care how many people, and it's true, and I feel this way too, say that one of the great things of going to the parks, maybe not anymore, but certainly in the heyday, was just being there and just walking around and feeling the atmosphere and seeing the wonderful landscaping and the lighting and the parade. And you didn't even have to go on a ride to have a good time. Okay, swell. That's what you're paying for. You want anything else? We're going to go back to the ticket books, but the tickets are not going to be 75 cents and $1.25. They're going to be $50 and $75 if you want to yo-ho with the pirates.
Well, Lou, now if I was to go to Disneyland today and not want to spend any money and just kind of walk around, my sites would include scaffolding, walls, scrim.
Exactly.
The whole, basically
And
everything from Haunted Mansion on is broke or down.
It gives a whole new meaning to that phrase that of the color they paint the construction walls of, go away green. What it means is, if you see this green, go away.
Well, I kind of forgot, like with my family member who had Parkinson's. The one thing I was like, well, you know what? We'll be able to do let's just go on the railroad, and I forgot the railroad was closed. Like so I'm like, we can't even go around the park on the railroad because we wanted to show them Toontown. And that's a long way to walk, man. That's the whole side of the park.
The assistance cart or whatever, and they just cart you around all day. And there's the ride. Isn't this so exciting?
Were the trolleys at least working?
The trolleys were working, but
not for long.
This individual wouldn't have been able to get up the steps for that, so that wouldn't have worked for us in our situation. It was, get in the wheelchair. We'll take you all the way back so that you can see the area and stuff like that. But
and no more Skyway, and no more. I mean,
I think the monorail's down right now too, or at least it was.
Seriously? I think so. Yeah. We covered this a little bit, Nolan, on that Park Place, but there was a tremendous amount of things that are down right now around this time period, August and September, in the lead up to the holidays.
Well, up until I don't know, a week ago, it was all of Critter Country. It was the train. It was Space Mountain. It was the monorail. It was Hungry Bear. It was
Space Mountain.
Don't you think the ticket price should reflect how many things are operational at the time?
I would think
this is Nolan. This has been a beef of mine in a different arena for decades. Broadway shows, when they tour to fix the show before they're going to open on Broadway, what they used to call opening it out of town, and they would play Pennsylvania and Connecticut and up and down the East Coast for a couple of months to refine numbers. And do we want to keep this number? And maybe we'll change those two things. But they charge you full boat.
Makes no sense.
Pay us full price to help us fix our show so we can charge even more full price when it opens someday.
Even over here on the West Coast, we shut down the monorail during the summer after like 11 o'clock because it doesn't have air conditioning. And if it breaks down, people are sweating uncontrolled. Like it's just so hot in there that they can't take the risk of it stopping in. I mean, right now I am surrounded by 3 wildfires within 30 miles of my house. I can't go outside. It's just like it looks like the apocalypse. Over here in Chino Hills, we've been dealing with 4 days of 113-degree heat, and I'm only 20 minutes away from Disneyland. Yesterday, if you looked at the app, everything was a 5-minute wait because the air quality is garbage. And in Anaheim, it's 100 degrees.
Yes, in Anaheim, it's 100 degrees recently. The Mark V monorails that were part of the Disneyland line had air conditioning. The Mark 7s, the current line, does not. And
why did they backscale that? That makes no sense.
Because you're not running those motors and spending that electricity.
Right. You're
not having one more gizmo
cost.
you have to maintain.
It's cheaper than a wrongful death suit or 7.
Well, you just don't run them. So now you have an excuse not to run this attraction as well.
There you go.
And if you don't have to staff it, you don't have to overtime. And if you can, there was one, I forget which park. I think it was Animal Kingdom. And Lorena was doing one of her wonderful walkthroughs. And it was like 10 o'clock in the morning and 2 or 3 of the biggest rides hadn't opened. And they told them it was maintenance, but we thought about it and decided, if you open the park at 8:30 or 9 o'clock in the morning, but you don't open the following 6 attractions till noon, you can get 1 shift instead of 2 to cover that day when they don't close too late. Well, that's a big deal on a weekly, annualized basis.
Sure.
And that's the game they're playing. Sorry, it broke. And then, of course, we have the real ones that never get unfixed. I mean, you were talking before about Tron, and I keep saying when they decided, well, COVID, we better slow down or stop the construction for a while because we're not going to be able to open it for a while. We don't know when, and why should we spend that money to have it sitting there? Why? Because when you take 6 years to build something that is direct duplicate of something you've already built overseas, by the way, instead of the 4 years you were going to, guess what? Everything's more expensive. Every little piece of wood, every little bushing, every little everything. And, what are you saving by having it not ready when the people come back?
I mean, they're just pushing it to quarter, and it makes the quarter look
And
good.
what that tells you is that the people in charge of these decisions are basically getting their performance bonuses and their work evaluations done quarter to quarter. So if they can say, I saved you 12 cents between last quarter and this quarter, they're still there.
But that's the thing, Lou. That's the thing, Lou. It's so many people, and this has been a problem with the Walt Disney Company for years, but really has been profoundly affecting the parks recently, and the entire company for that matter. There's so many people within Disney right now who are just using the company as a stepping stone, making the current quarters that they work look good so that they can put them on their portfolios and then get that corner office somewhere else. And because
the White House.
And what decision would you make, by the way, if you knew that you didn't have to live with the consequences of your actions? That's what's happening right now. These people.
You described our country.
No, but see, that's even without going into that. When we were talking about these people making the decisions on the disabled, they're making those decisions. When you talked about they didn't know what Parkinson's was and was that Michael J. Fox, they don't care. They know that they're told if you have. There's somebody counting. We had 25 people asked to be on, and we allowed 10.
Yep.
And if you come in with 11 one day, you're going to get a dirty look from the boss because we told you we want to keep it under 10. And if you get 8, you might be the boss next day.
Words, right, Lou? Like, they said cancer. Okay, give that to them. That's the buzzword we were listening for, or whatever.
You're managing based on criteria that have nothing to do with the business of success. but very much to do with the short-term stats.
I came away with the feeling too, like you're completely at the mercy of, did somebody have a fight with their boyfriend or girlfriend the night before? What's their status right now? Are they hungry? Are they waiting for lunch? Are they trying to get out? Are they uncomfortable because their air conditioning's not so great inside? Like, you're not talking to a medical professional on a medical situation. You're talking to a cast member who they took like 60 days to change this process. What kind of training could that even possibly begin to happen with?
Exactly.
You know?
It's just the listen for these specific terms, because this one will be like avoid us a lawsuit and whatever. And then, like you said, listen for those words, listen for those terms, and keep it under 10 people a day or how many ever.
And you can use all this for your own prejudices. What if one of these people's racist? And what if the person asking is black? And they say, well, I'm really getting rid of you, N-word, because that's how I feel. But I'm going to be able to get away with it forever and have my little chuckle when I go home to my beer because the boss said only allow this many. And we got to this many before you got here.
It does allow for bias. That is absolutely.
It allows for sexism. Right? It allows for exchange of favors.
And like I said, it allows for complete uneducatedness. When it comes to, I'm telling you, we all know somebody that's dealing with something. Someone in our family, someone in our life that's dealing with somebody, something, and the struggles they deal with. Now, they may not all, qualify for DAS or something. I'm not saying that, but the struggles they're dealing with, and it because you're with that person. Doctors know what these are because they deal with multiple people coming in. They understand the afflictions, the limitations physically on the human body, and these people are not. They're not paid. First of all, they're not paid enough to be able to make that call. Let's be real.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And they're not trained enough to be able to make that call. They don't know when you don't know specific ailments, how can you make a judgment? And if somebody's answer to seeing somebody in front of them in a wheelchair with Parkinson's is that what Michael J. Fox has? I fully expected to have a medical professional come at that point because I heard that there was a backup.
Yeah.
If that is your knowledge to sit there and think that, first of all, Michael J. Fox at his age is a lot different than a 70-plus-year-old with the same thing,
And by the same token, somebody who's been suffering with it for years, as has their family, is in a different position for somebody who's new to it all.
Sure. Absolutely.
A lot of medical things, as I've had personal reason to know in the last few weeks, there's medical stuff that comes out of left field that you think you're doing perfectly fine. And all of a sudden, so not only are you in the dark on some of the details, not only are you trying to find the way that works for you to cope with it, you're in emotional and intellectual trauma. You're not able to cope if they were the best in the world. And if they go out of their way to be the other way.
And wouldn't like the perfect medicine when there is no medicine for a disease like that or Alzheimer's, wouldn't the perfect medicine be the happiest place on earth?
It should be.
Great.
It should be.
I mean, maybe back 30 years ago.
if God forbid, because I'm not wishing ill on anyone, the person who asked you the Michael J. Fox question, if suddenly tomorrow morning they wake up sick with that disease and they go to the hospital and they go to the doctor and they're confused and they're disoriented and they go and the doctor says, well, we've done all the tests. Dr. House comes out and tells you, you've got this. Is your first reply about yourself going to be, ooh, is that what Michael J. Fox had?
Right.
Who cares? Who cares?
Like I was like, are we talking about Marty McFly? Are we talking about the person sitting in front of you?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, I remember Rogue Attraction says here Disney partnered with Advent Health to use them for DAS evaluation. I remember when the company touted that as, okay, we're getting medical professionals on scene here in order to make these evaluations. On the one hand, I was thinking, okay, well, maybe you're taking this out of the cast members' hands. But apparently that's not the case. This has not been the experience of people who have received DAS, or at least have tried to receive DAS after begging for the service.
And I'm almost wondering if that service is only, because I didn't see it at all in the hour that I waited outside and I watched and they were doing. I almost wonder if that service is only available if you go online. And then they can bring in somebody who's not physically there. You can bring in
telehealth in or whatever.
Yeah, because I don't think that Abbott healthcare person is on location.
Right. So there's two ways to get DAS. There's one in advance with a virtual representative or a representative virtually.
Paying Abbott, or is Abbott paying Disney for the product placement?
That's a good point.
Are they getting the very, very bare minimum in return for getting their name out there and having Disney pay for it? So anyway, we won't solve all that. But
so many times though, Lou, it's all about, it's not give the guest all you can give them, like Walt. You know, his mantra of yesterday was, it's all about what can we get away with. That's the mindset change at the Walt Disney Company, especially in regards to the parks. Fortunately, that hasn't yet affected the cruise lines. But
and by the way, in saying this, it's not because Walt was he was a good person. I think obviously he created amazing things.
Sure,
but he knew it was good business to do it the right way too.
Right.
It's just good business. That's what I was saying before about that other situation. You'll read more in my thing. Mm-hmm. If fly-by-night operators who are sleazeballs with not much skin in the game, because if they close up tomorrow, they can open 2 weeks later down the road.
Yep.
If they know it's bad business to do it the other way, if they understand the kind of negative PR they can get, if they aren't realizing that being good to those people is good for them personally, how the hell does Disney not get it? How the hell does somebody as experienced and as big and as powerful as Disney not get it? I can't imagine.
Willful ignorance is the answer.
It's terrible.
But I'm just saying, if they don't care about the people, but if they realize it's bad for them, how can you not know that?
That was a highlight from our live stream on That Park Place Podcasts online, where the full stream can be found at the link in the description. But what about you? What were your thoughts on this particular story? Please let us know in the comments below. Like this video if you did like this video. Share us out, as it helps us out tremendously against the YouTube algorithm. And thank you so much for watching. T3, BO. Please comment, like, and share this video. And don't forget to subscribe to That Park Place Podcasts online, your source for exclusive content and highlights from WDW Pro, The Pro Show, and That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.